Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Department of Social Services Town Hall meeting taking place at the Forster B. Pastina Center, Christ the King. I am Ramiko Knowles, your host for this evening's event, and I'm joined by Debbie Bartlett, the consultant within the Social Services Information and Broadcasting Department, as my co-host for this evening. How are you doing?
Wonderful. May I commend you on being a bright future in broadcasting? You're just first class.
Yes.
I've been watching you over the last couple of years. And if I may, can I just say to the people of Grand Bahama, I salute you. I honor you. You are a people of resilience.
Yes, we are.
When we think about the 5 hurricanes that you've gone through, the COVID-19, and you're still, somebody said it to me this way, we are bouncing back.
Yes, we are. We certainly are.
Yeah,
We
and you
certainly
know,
are.
that's why we are here. I just love the vision
Yes.
of the minister, the Honorable Miles
Larota,
Larota, because what he wants to do is to communicate more effectively so that we can serve at Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, people of the Bahamas more effectively.
Yes.
It's very easy, as you know, to look at what the weaknesses are.
Absolutely,
And we
and
always-
to
we
point them
always
out,
have that. Yeah.
and to point them out, we always point out what the weaknesses are.
Yes.
When there's things being done to address those weaknesses and address the challenges, this is why we're here today.
That's exactly why, because you know, there's something about communication.
Absolutely,
Effective communication is when the intended message gets to the intended listener.
yes,
But what disrupts it is what is called noise.
Yeah.
That noise is, I did not get my meal, my food voucher.
absolutely.
I've been applying now for years.
So we wanna eliminate the noise.
We want to eliminate the
We wanna
noise.
take the noise
Yes.
away, and we want to bring silence now and bring answers to those people who are concerned and want answers to their questions about what are we to do when we have these challenges and these concerns and all of these issues within the department. This is why the town hall meeting is being
That
held
is
today.
why we're here. We want to serve the people of the Bahamas on a platter of excellence.
Absolutely.
And listen, you know, there was a time where the chairman of Heinz, he was from Ireland, and he said to me, and the former general manager at the time was at the Broadcasting Corporation. I don't know if you were born yet, but anyhow.
Probably weren't.
He was just walking around in your toddler thing, you know. But you know what the chairman of Heinz, Dr. Tony O'Reilly, said to me. He said, "Listen, a government corporation does not have to run inefficiently," and he took us into Ireland. And do you know that their broadcasting corporation was running at a profit? What the minister and the permanent secretary in the Bahamas at Social Services, we want to transform the attitude and how we think, how we approach, how we utilize the services, and who's qualified for the services. Not everybody is qualified.
Absolutely. This is a ministry that I think is not only people-driven, but heart-driven. You cannot be within the Ministry of Social Services and not have a heart for the people and the concern that you have for the people. It'll tell on you eventually. You cannot be in this department and not have, I would say, a soft, broken heart for what the issues are and what people face in this country, because it just won't work. It just won't work for you as with the minister or anybody within the department, even the employees, down to the employees. It's a ministry. It is definitely a ministry, and you have to have a heart for people. You have to have a heart for their concerns. You have to have a heart for their issues. And I've always said that hats off to the people within the Ministry of Social Services Department, because it's not an easy role. It's not something that you can just come to as a career. It's not a 9 to 5. You don't get off in the Social Services Department. Some of these employees take the issues home with them, and they're trying to figure out how they can help people even when they're off. And so hats off to everyone within the Social Services Department. Hats off to those of you that go beyond the call of duty to make sure that people are being served, because this is a service-oriented ministry right here.
You hit it on so many points. Social services is the heartbeat of the nation.
Yes.
The stronger we are, the stronger the nation is. Everything in the 18 departments comes through social services. There's another chord that you struck is critically important. We have oftentimes gotten the negative publicity, but when we look at the sacrifices, I was so very touched by Devontae Hanna in an interview he did with the minister, and he said, "Thank you," which you did, and it's all very organic.
Yes.
We had no talk
Yes.
about this at all.
Yeah.
And that is a sign of growth for the nation.
Yes.
When we are grateful, because social workers, the entire professional team, I feel like it is an honor for me to be working at social services. You know why? These are the unsung heroes. There are
Absolutely.
more of the social services leaders and professionals who have exactly what you said, the heart, the commitment.
Yes.
Have we considered that through the 5 hurricanes, particularly in Grand Bahama, and throughout the Bahamas where we have been affected, and COVID-19,
Yes.
they were like the police. They didn't have they didn't have time off. You said something like you know somebody from social services. They're on 24-hour
24
call.
hours. I could understand what it is that they go through, just being a journalist and having to work around the clock as well. But we may not necessarily be the first people that may get the call. But social services most definitely would get the call when somebody doesn't have a plate of food, or somebody doesn't have the resources needed to take care of their grandmother, or so on and so forth. And you drive past them and you see the lines and you see the need. But the reason we're here today is to make sure that these needs are being addressed and persons know that the minister is concerned and he's also addressing them. And so we don't have the noise in the market, as we mentioned earlier. We are addressing the concerns and we're giving them information as to how they can get their needs addressed effectively.
Yes, because sometimes the inefficiencies are on both sides.
Yes.
In terms of some employees may not have that spirit of excellence the way we would want them
It
to
goes
have
both.
it. It goes both ways.
Yes, it does.
But sometimes delays happen because we don't know the proper procedure.
Absolutely.
We haven't provided the NIB. We haven't filled out an application. And so we want to teach people, and we're going throughout the Bahamas, how. We have a digital base that we can pull up every name that is in the system. And so we want to be sure that you can only act on what you know.
Absolutely.
That the people of the Bahamas, they know what is required, they know who's qualified, so that we can help each other be efficient at what we do.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it. The town hall meeting is about to take place in just a few minutes. When we come back, we will be joined by the Assistant Director of the Department of Social Services, Jody Burrows, who will explain what this town hall meeting is all about in a more efficient manner. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment.
Strong family bonds provide a crucial support system, often filling the gaps that might otherwise lead to reliance on social assistance.
If we get the family structure support system right, you won't see adult children willingly putting their parents in senior citizens' homes. You won't see anyone putting children up for adoption. We should be the safety net for when the family begins to have some challenges.
Addressing the root causes of dependency is essential, as our goal is to shift the focus from merely providing aid to fostering self-reliance.
We must be prepared to move persons from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment. And I'm asking the public to join us on this journey.
This has been the Heartbeat Brief, an inside look at the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting.
And welcome back to the Department of Social Services Town Hall meeting. I'm Ramiko Knowles, and of course my co-host for this evening is none other than Debbie Bartlett, the consultant within the Social Services Information and Broadcasting Department, and we are now joined by the Assistant Director of Social Services. Debbie, Burrows. Welcome to the show this evening.
Thank you. for
I
having
know that you have been quite busy within the past several weeks. Quite a lot has been going on, but what we want to get to is what this town hall meeting is all about. Everybody wants to know what some of the services that social services offer. You've been answering those questions throughout the week, but really, what is the purpose of this town hall meeting and the plans to promote greater efficiency for clients?
Okay. So the purpose of this town hall meeting this evening is to educate our clients and the general public of the Department of Social Services and the services we provide for our communities. The Promise program rolled out in January of 2022. And right now, we didn't have the opportunity because of COVID-19 and the likes to fully inform our clients of all that Promise has to offer. Okay, so the Promise program is designed to be digitized first and foremost, so our clients are able to avoid long lines.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of our major concerns.
Yes.
Okay, I know over the years you've
Yeah.
heard the community saying about the long lines that social services has, and now the Promise program has given us relief from all of those lines. So you can, at the touch of a button, make your application for various assistances. Now, as it relates to the other divisions in the Department of Social Services, we also want to advise the public or inform the public that we have different divisions other than Community Support Services Division. Now, Community Support Services Division, of course, has the largest amount of clients in the Department of Social Services because, of course, that is the division that assists our clients with financial assistance that can range from emergency food, monthly food assistance, airfare for medical purposes, financial assistance with medical needs in general. We have 2 centers, one for West Grand Bahama, that is in the New Obadiah Wilshcombe Center, and of course the main office center is right here in Freeport proper. Yeah, so we are trying to bring dignity to our clients. We have the food program now. We have cards. They're carded. Our clients are carded, or they receive their payment through the Canoe app. We offer uniform assistance, various assistance. We accommodations, emergency accommodations. So we also have Family Services Division, Children's Services, Placement Division, and this evening we are going to just explain that a little more for you.
Ramiko, you notice what she said? She said she has generational clients.
Yeah.
I think we should sometimes talk a little more about what are the consequences to a nation if we are comfortable with being on the dependency line for generations.
That's what sinks in for me. When you talk about generational clients, you talk about it almost sounds as if Grammy and that passed on to grandson and that passed on to the son, and they're all clients of social
Yes.
services. And at some point, somebody has to break the cycle. But it seems as though, are you saying that some people are comfortable with getting assistance from social services and not wanting to seek assistance from anywhere else?
I am definitely saying that. At times, it's a sense of entitlement. It's a sense of entitlement. And we have to educate our clients, our people, that the Department of Social Services is here to render assistance when the need arises, but not to be dependent upon. You know, sometimes it's budgeted in. It's a part of your budget, so, yeah.
So I break it down a little bit. The entitlement culture is a you owe me. And with that comes with attitudes of
I am a Bahamian.
I am a babe, you owe me.
I'm a citizen
That's
of
what
this
it means.
country.
You
Right.
owe me.
Right.
Yes, it is.
And what you did yesterday doesn't matter because it's what I need now.
Today.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but give us an example, because I think we have to know each other more. And I believe that we are here today because we want to really build family.
Yeah.
And I
Absolutely.
know that we'll talk about that later
Absolutely.
on in the program, because we
And-
got to get some stronger
Absolutely,
families.
and that is why we're here, to make sure that we help to break the generational cycle, and we bring help to where it is actually needed,
Yes.
and not consistently be able to provide that backbone for persons that don't necessarily need the assistance,
Yes.
but be able to provide it for those that really need that assistance. And so, as more people begin to trickle into this town hall meeting, which is about to begin in just a few moments, we're about to take a break, but we'll answer all those questions when we come back in just a few moments.
The acting director of the Department of Social Services, Ms. Charlamagne Fernanda, is on a shared mission to facilitate help, hope, and opportunity for Bahamians who are in need. Even though she admits that the social problems are expansive, there's still a bright light of optimism. Ms. Fernanda describes social services as a lifeline for those in genuine need. It is not a guaranteed entitlement for everyone.
Social services is not like national insurance, where you would have made a contribution and you are entitled to benefits based on the contributions made. We provide assistance, and the assistance that we provide doesn't require repayment. Certainly when a person is struggling and is in difficulty, they can expect us to assist them as best we can. That is our mandate. It's not where you would have invested something and therefore you're coming to receive your benefits. It isn't that way at all.
Temporary housing is designed to offer immediate relief during difficult times, but it's crucial that individuals move on as soon as they're able.
There is a time frame that you can be in the temporary shelter. So you get an approval for that period of time. And if it's necessary, you may reapply. The thing is, though, spaces are limited, and there's always a long line of persons who need temporary placement, so we cannot really keep somebody in a temporary shelter indefinitely. You can't be there 6 months, a year, 2 years, etc., because you are meant to be seeking permanent housing for yourself while you have the opportunity to live someplace rent-free.
Although it's been mentioned before, it's crucial to emphasize that the disruption of the traditional Bahamian family has significantly strained the energy and resources of social services, pushing them to their limits.
It's not only the responsibility of the Department of Social Services or the government to repair what is wrong with our society. The entire nation needs to work together. Persons are not paying attention to and accepting responsibility for caring for their family members. We lived in extended family structures in this nation. If a sister failed to take care of her children, her siblings would take care of their nieces and nephews, etc., or the grandparents would do so. And it's because people have moved away from that we are finding that if we build a home right now, I guarantee you I could have that filled by the end of the month.
This has been the Heartbeat Brief, an inside look at the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the heartbeat of the nation, moving our clients from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment.
Now, before we went to the break, we were talking about the generational clients that were, I call them clients because
Yes.
essentially they are persons who are seeking assistance from the Department of Social Services that you were speaking about. Generational clients that seem to depend on the department for years and years and years. When you talk about generation, that's the term that comes to mind. Generational clients for years and years and years. So how are we doing in that regard when we talk about making persons more self-sufficient than dependent on the Department of Social Services? How are we doing in that regard?
I would say that we are making strides. We are making inroads on it. We continue on a daily basis to educate our clients, to encourage them as well to seek employment, to further education, so that they will be equipped for employment, to be able to finance their families, to provide for their families with limited or in some cases no support from the Department of Social Services. That is our aim, that is our goal, to make our clients self-sufficient. Yes.
In Nassau, there are clients who came in flat broke, nowhere to look, nowhere to turn, and the social services provided training programs for them. And today, there is a particular young woman who is now in a very successful business. And we're going to look to really promote those kinds of success stories.
We have to.
Yes.
We have to.
Because, Remiko, if we always describe a problem, we
Yes.
become more of it.
Yes.
There are a lot of successful people who transition from the valley. That's
Yes.
what life will have, the experiences of valley. And sometimes we stay in the valley. Can I just tell a story just for a minute? Just the other day, somebody gave, I don't work in the trenches in social services, but since people know that I'm consulting,
Yes.
I get a lot of calls. I got this call, and this lady needed a home. She has a autistic son, and she wanted to work. She didn't have enough for it to last. The ministries got she didn't know about the rental assistance. And the way our discussion went, she said at the end of it, she said, I was thinking about committing suicide.
Wow.
The only thing that was keeping me alive is my autistic child.
Wow.
But I was wondering what else I could do. But this conversation today has given me hope. She called me today and she said she found a place that she can afford. That's after the coaching, and that is their spirit. They
Absolutely.
are really working hard to give people that hope, that favorable, confident
Absolutely.
expectation.
And I imagine there are so many success stories that we don't hear about within the Department of Social Services. We hear about all of the challenges and the issues and the concerns that people raise, but we rarely hear about the success stories that people say that I got assistance from the Social Services Department and they helped me did this or they helped me do that and now this is where I'm at. Why don't we hear more about those stories?
Remiko, I don't know why it is that we don't hear it, but we have them.
Yes.
They exist. We have numerous clients who come back to the department to thank us for what we have done for their families. And I will say, I would like to hear more of that in the public. You know, don't just speak about the negativity of the department, whatever they may be, whatever your concerns or challenges it may be with the Department of Social Services. The Department of Social Services, its officers, its staff, we try to lift our clients from where they are to a higher realm.
Absolutely.
To ensure that they are self-sufficient, to make sure that there was a time that the Department of Social Services assisted with entrance into BTVI. We paid tuitions, you know, and clients have come back and say, well, thank you, I opened a craft shop, I did this, I have my own salon, I have a booth, whatever it is, you know, I'm employed with the Bahamas government. We have a lot of success stories. Unfortunately, we don't hear about them too often in the public.
Going back to our biblical roots, and it seems as though we have strayed away from where we first were some umpteen years ago. And I think that is why we are faced with the challenges that we are faced with today. And but again, we're doing our best to correct those issues, and that is why we're here today to address the challenges. And that is the purpose of this town hall meeting, to make sure that persons are aware that people are here to address their issues, and we're not running away from it, we're not shying away from it. We understand that the issues are there and we want to address them. We're going to take it now to the podium for the start of the town hall meeting. I want to thank Jody Burrows, who is the Assistant Director of Social Services, for joining us today, and my co-host, Debbie Bartlett, consultant within the Social Services and Information and Broadcasting Department. To the podium we go for the start of the event.
Father, we pray tonight in the name of Jesus Christ, dear Lord, that in spite of all disagreements, Father, we pray that we will conduct ourselves in the most proper manner. We pray, Father, oh God, that your angels will maintain order. We pray that you give us the grace that is needed. We pray, Father, oh God, that solutions, oh God, will be put in place, We pray that concerns will be expressed with clarity. And Father, we pray that will be mutual understanding among your people on tonight. Father, we pray tonight in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, that you would have your way. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please be seated. So before Ms. Bryce comes, she just reminded me of a slight housekeeping matter that I did not take care of. First of all, I must recognize the guests of our head table, and I'd like to do so beginning with the Honorable Miles LaRota. He is the Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting. We also have joining us tonight Ms. Ginger Moxie, the Minister for Grand Bahama. Next is the Honorable Michael Pintard, who is Leader of the Opposition and Member of Parliament for Marco City. All the way joining us from the Capitol is the Acting Director of Social Services, Ms. Ann Edwards. And me, yours truly, Fedra Ramming Turnquest, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting. This time, I invite Ms. Bryce to come and give the welcome.
Standing on the protocol already established, I say good evening to everyone. Today marks a significant milestone for the Department of Social Services in Grand Bahama as we proudly fulfill our vision, which is to create a society for all ages through empowerment, protection, inclusion, cultural sensitivity, and team building, utilizing all social partners. Through our official introduction of our Social Protection Information System, commonly known as PROMISE, we welcome all of you this evening, both in person and those participating via media. Thank you for being a part of this important, revolutionary experience in the history of social services. We have brought to you the experts, and we truly believe that our presence here tonight would give you the answers you have been looking for. Once again, welcome.
Thank you. To bring greetings at this time, we invite Minister Ginger Moxie from the Ministry of Grand Bahama in this order, then followed by the Leader of the Opposition, and then Minister LaRota.
Good evening, Grand Bahama. I am so delighted to have the Minister of Social Services and his team here on Grand Bahama Island to address many outstanding social services concerns that we have been having throughout Grand Bahama Island. I think it's a long time coming. Happy that they are here. We have so many requests that reach the Ministry for Grand Bahama that we try to address. Our CoLab unit has been working collaboratively with the Ministry of Social Services to address some of the issues that we face. And so again, I won't be very long. There's about 3 conflicting events going on at the same time. We have Diplomatic Week at the Grand Ukayan that I was already planned to bring remarks at. And so I do want to spend as much time with you, but the main reason for this is to be able to address your concerns, because so often, you go to social services and then, you end up going somewhere else and your matters are still not resolved. So as much as you know that you have not been able to get resolutions to your issues, please ensure that you bring them to the table. They've brought the full staff from Nassau, seems like, and so you should be able to get resolution or be directed in the right way. And so there are many things that we're planning through the Ministry for Grand Bahama in collaboration with Ministry of Social Services, Ministry of Housing and Urban Renewal, This actually happens to be in the Pine Ridge constituency, this meeting tonight. And so I know that there are many here who are from the Garden Villas community. There are many from the Drake Avenue community and other communities throughout Pine Ridge and throughout Grand Bahama Island. So again, ensure that all of the issues that you have, that you've expressed, that you've gone to, you've waited on lines, and now you have them front and center to be able to address your concerns. So again, I wish you all the best. I'm going to see if I can stay as long as I can before I leave for my other assignment. But God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Moxie. Just a matter I need to ask, please. A white Nissan Murano, license plate 2313. Can you please move your vehicle? White Nissan Murano 2313, please move your vehicle. Thank you. At this time, I invite the Honorable Michael Pintard, Leader of the Opposition, and the Member of Parliament for the Marcos City constituency to address us.
Good evening, everyone. Good. It is an honor to be here this evening, and I wish to thank the Honorable Miles LaRota, Permanent Secretary, Fedra Raming, and the senior staff of Social Services for making this trip. Several months ago, we had the opportunity to meet with Minister LaRota and his entire senior team here in Grand Bahama, as well as I believe a few of his staff members out of New Providence. Kwesi Thompson and myself made the case, as you would have made the case to us and to all of the members of Parliament on the island, about the range of needs that you have that may not have been met on a timely basis. We had a very fruitful discussion. We talked about issues related to senior citizens who, while they are being verified, were removed from the food assistance program. And one of the things that the minister said, along with the permanent secretary, this could be done differently, and we intend to change it to make sure that persons are not disadvantaged while they wait for the verification process. And we were very grateful for their immediate response that the system have to be adjusted so that persons are not waiting for an inordinate length of time. We also spoke about delays relative to rental assistance. So each of the areas that you have petitioned the 5 members of Parliament on the island for, again, they were receptive to ideas that were shared, and there was a firm agreement that tonight would happen. And that it would happen in a way that you don't only address the broad issues in a room like this, but that you're able to address the specific issues in privacy so that you're able to talk about the more sensitive matters. So let me just say clearly, as a member of Parliament on this island, our team have made a commitment to work with the minister and with the permanent secretary and the staff. So we have them on speed dial. And we've shared with the minister the work that we have been doing and have agreed that we can collaborate on a number of these programs. So I'll give a few examples before I take my seat. One is a number of residents in Grand Bahama have very serious health challenges and need to travel in order to remedy some of those situations. Secondly, and closely related to that, a number of residents are unable to get the help they need at the RAN and may need to go to a private institution to do some of the tests. So several of us are paying on a regular basis to assist with that, transportation, paying towards the tests, etc. I've had the good fortune of being able to reach out to the minister or to speak with the permanent secretary and have been able to get assistance through social services, or social services has intervened to the Minister of Health, who has a catastrophic fund. It was populated with $10 million, and so a number of residents have been able to get assistance that may not be in the budget for social services, but social services has been able to assist in that regard. And while home repairs, which if not done could lead to health issues because of mold, infestation, etc., we've been able also to have very serious discussions and began to move in the direction that we can help to an extent with respect to remedying some of the conditions that people find themselves in their home that create the health crisis that a lot of our residents are experiencing. Also, we know that when people need help, sometimes people get the same help from multiple agencies. And so the goal is for us to work more closely together across the political divide so that we can help as many people as possible. And one way to help as many people as possible is to make sure we don't have duplication of services. So if you come, for example, to Marco City and you need X amount of something, it could be whether it's food assistance, whether if it's the home repair to prevent mold infestation, and you need 15 sheets of plywood, and we got 5 or 6 to you, but we know you attend Agape Church, and we're able to get another 6 from Pastor Ann or Pastor Tony, we know that social services only needs to kick in directly or with their colleagues in the small home repair program or the Ministry of Grand Bahama and provide the balance. So we've agreed that where information could be shared without violating your confidentiality on sensitive issues, that we'll work together to make sure that needs are met. And so, again, tonight would be a time for you to share candidly what the challenges are that you're having so that we are able to identify the issues that exist. And obviously, the government penny is much bigger than the members of parliament individual penny, but the government would then indicate what they're able to do. Members of parliament are given, every member of parliament is given $150,000 to help with various things in the constituency. And so we should be able to pick up some of the slack that a ministry may not be able to pick up. And so it is important for you to make sure that we get the church involved. And that's why sometimes you come to my office, I ask you which church you attend, because pastors have been very generous in helping. And then, of course, the ministry helps, the member of parliament helps, and then we're able, bit by bit, to address the issues that you're having. So the final thing I would say is we have a wonderful opportunity if we work together to make sure that none of our neighbors are suffering in silence. So, for example, you are some of you are part of Rotary, Cavinas, Pilot Club. There are a number of non-governmental agencies. The minister has made a commitment that he's prepared to collaborate with all of these organizations so that we're able to address your needs. So my recommendation would be that every one of all of you that are from different constituencies, register your concern. I brought the booklet and how we register it in Marco City. Register your concern with your member of parliament. Share the similar information with social service if it is a social service issue. If your church has a similar information, we will be getting together so that we are able to identify who needs what and to see how collectively we can help. Rotary is often very helpful, so is Cavinas. So just when you come in, indicate who you are already talking to, because we can add to what they are doing so that we don't miss anybody. But please, if you know folks who are hurting, reach out to us. Every one of us, it's our job to be helpful to you. Do not be prideful about it. We will talk to our staff, and certainly in our offices so that they could be sensitive to the struggles that people are having in Grand Bahama. It is our job to help you. None of us are doing you any favors. This is our job. You hired us to do this job, and we want to be as helpful as possible to you. So I'll be happy at the end to answer any questions that you may have, and our goal is to touch you in meaningful ways to alleviate the burdens and the stress that you're experiencing. So God bless you, and thank you very much.
When I assumed this particular ministry, I had a long conversation with the Minister of Grand Bahama over the concerns of social services, the length of time that was being taken to process claims. She did to me as she did to the former minister, raising the issues for the people of Grand Bahama. On the flip side, I know that social services is here to service all Bahamians, irrespective of party politics. I also had a lot of requests from the member for Marco City, the member for Central, and for East Grand Bahama, because they had a lot of concerns. And so a few months ago, I came to Grand Bahama at the invitation of the Minister of Grand Bahama, and I discussed with her the concerns of just about every constituency that range from food assistance, rental, burial. I also met with the leader of the opposition and the minister for East Grand Bahama. I felt it was the right thing to do. They represent a constituency in Grand Bahama. They had their concerns, because if we're going to right this ship, the Grand Bahama community have to feel that everybody's going to be included. The social services department affects every aspect of our society. And so I felt that the best way to deal with this is to try and take out the politics and to create an environment where individuals feel comfortable in raising their concerns. After that meeting, I had a meeting with my parliamentary colleagues to discuss some of the issues as it related to social services. I raised the concerns from the Minister for Grand Bahama. I also raised the concerns of the three opposition MPs. So I took into consideration and the member for West Grand Bahama. And so I had a position of all the concerns that were raised. We know that Dorian affected the East and Central more than it did the West, and that is not minimizing what may have happened in West Grand Bahama. But there was some hurting people, and you were hearing the same cries, whether it be PLP, whether it be F&M. And so we made some decisions. Those decisions were not trickling down that the cabinet made. I spoke to the PS, I spoke to the director of social services, and I mentioned those concerns. The complaints continued. And so I called a meeting with the executive team at social services, and I gave to them the government position as it related to food assistance, because that's where the majority of the claims were coming in. The government made a decision that citizens who were 65 years and older, 70 at the time, but was reduced, that while we agree that they have to be reassessed for legal reasons, and those who are infirmed, whether it be the elderly or with children, that the food assistance should be continued and not put in a position where individuals have to prove they need it. So they basically were guilty until they proved that they needed assistance. And so, now please, you'll have a chance to raise it. I'm telling you what happened. And so, when the calls continued, I met with the executive team from social services, and they gave me their assurance that this information was being passed down. I said again that, look, I'm getting frequent calls from the Minister of Grand Bahama. I'm still getting calls from the member for West Grand Bahama. I'm still getting calls from the opposition constituencies. I then came to Grand Bahama with my executive team. I addressed all of the managers at the office in Grand Bahama. And later on that day, I addressed all of the employees of social services in Grand Bahama to inform them, and the reason for doing that was to inform them so they could hear from the minister, they could hear from the PS, they could hear from the director. As it relates to food assistance, the government's position that was put in writing that seemed not to be trickling down was that 70-year-olds or the infirmed, there was to be no disruption in the food assistance, yet while they need to be reassessed because we don't want dead heads on the rolls, we want those people not to be negatively impacted. And my reason is, a 70-year-old, what is going to change in their circumstances? Either they're going to hit the lottery or the kids got rich. So those situations are going to remain unless some miracle happen. And so is the scenario with the infirmed. And so we have gotten to a point where I explained to everybody in Grand Bahama, notices were sent out about what the policy was. The situation has continued, albeit it may be a little bit reduced. But I wanted to, from the meeting with the Minister for Grand Bahama and also with the opposition MPs, I felt that it was incumbent on me to bring the team from New Providence and come to say to the Grand Bahama community, those who are dependent on social services. And you could hear it from us. And so you are empowered when scenarios come up about your assistance, if you're an elderly person or if you are an infirmed person, that there should be no disruption in your service, notwithstanding you are still required to be reassessed. Social services have been doing different tours. The disabilities team will be in Abaco next week. We have been to Andros, we've been to Long Island, we have done some other islands of the Bahamas because there is a need for information in those family island communities about the services that are provided by the Department of Social Services. Some simple things which we are finding out in communities, especially as it relates to the disabled. We want communities to help us in our creation of a register. Scientists are saying that in every country, that about 15% of the population have some form of disability. That means in the Bahamas, a population of 400,000 people, we're looking at about 60,000 people. Our register have around 1,500. So you could see that there's a serious issue as it comes to the numbers in disabilities, and that will affect getting those numbers up, will put the Department of Social Services in a better position to ask for additional funding. And so there are people who don't know that the department provides wheelchairs for individuals that may require it, or walkers. They don't know that we could provide assistance in a lot of other areas. And so with this department, the leadership along with the disabled, the partners of disabilities, we want to take the message all through the Bahamas on what services social service provide. Tonight, we focus on social services, in particular those services pertaining to community support. They are ones commonly requested, like food, temporary shelter, burial, rental assistance, and others. There have been a request for rental assistance apart from private individuals who the department rent from. We have approved another private individual, but we're going to it'll take on a different spin, similar to what is going on at Poinciana in terms of more rooms that is going to be in a more secure setting, because we have certain communities, those who may be affected by violence. And so what you will see come on is some more availability as it relates to shelter. The department is in transition. We are shifting policies. We are expanding our digital program in some instances, adding additional locations to serve you, the public. Your experience with us as you enter our doors to receive our assistance is very important. And believe you me, there is an attempt coming from the very top, not only in Grand Bahama, but in Nassau, to create more of an inviting environment. I hear the snickers, but if you're going to raise the issue with us, I have to tell you what our plans are to address them. It'll be up to you when I come back next time if that program is working. But you can't ask for assistance, or when I tell you we try to assist, you snicker it. Give us a chance to do it. I know there's a history. I know there's anxiety. Believe you me, on a daily basis, Pine Ridge is sending me her concerns uptime, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. On a daily basis, the leader of the opposition and all the MPs from Grand Bahama. And so I wouldn't be standing here telling you that everything is hunky-dory. The main purpose for this is to address those issues. And not everything, some of them we could put on staffing, but a lot of the issues pertain to resources. You know, the pie only have so much slices. So it ain't an infinite amount of resources, and so the department is charged to try to assist as many with the resources that we have. As said before, the Minister for Grand Bahama and the leader of the opposition in tandem have been reaching out to social services, raising these concerns, especially with regards to that two-headed monster that Grand Bahama came out of, one being Dorian, the other one being COVID, where we had a total collapse of the economy. And just like in Grand Bahama, we have some of the same issues here. I would like to say that part of the issue with what we were trying to clean up as it came to assessments, until we started the reassessment this year, there was a period of 4 years where no reassessments were done, dating back to Dorian. What we had then were individuals who were furloughed. They were not fired, but there were no income coming in. So what happened was the budget for assistance exploded. And then the economy opened up, people went back to work, but some of those individuals were still receiving assistance. And while we are discussing things, we have to be honest. And so assistance that some individuals were getting were basically supplemental to their income, while there were some others who were applying to get was not afforded that. And so we had to go through a process where those who were seeking assistance, because social services assistance is based on needs, assessment of needs. But what we had were people who were working full-time jobs but were never taken off. So we had to go through the list and purge some of the individuals who were not in the circumstances as they were in during COVID. I encourage the audience to listen attentively to our presenters. You need to know what is required when applying, noting that social services intended for the poorest of the poor. That means in some cases, persons will be disappointed because they don't qualify according to those tests. Now, we are also reviewing, because it's a means test. We are advised by the Department of Social Services, we are meaning the government. Have been advised by social services that what would have been a disqualifier back then, somebody who was working or somebody who was receiving assistance, were being told they don't qualify. We have individuals who have homes, and because they had their home 30 years ago, and even on the inspection, because they may have a 20-inch TV in the house, that decisions were made on what these individuals may have had a long time. It's one thing if husband and wife is working, income is coming in, now they've retired, the spouse have lost, and so the recommendation from social services to the cabinet is, if this is going to be a means test assessment, we have to take into consideration that while individuals may be working, that they may still need help. Just being working alone should not disqualify you. Just because you have a pension should not disqualify you, because there are some people drawing $300 a month. How is that when your light bill could be more than that? That you tell an individual that they shouldn't get groceries. Those recommendations are coming from the people on the line in social services. So notwithstanding that you may feel that they're not servicing you, or they may present attitudes in some cases, because there's enough complaints out there to say that if one person call you a donkey, you don't worry, but if 10 call you, you buy a saddle. There have to be if people from every part of the island is saying the same thing, there have to be some credibility to that. But to balance that, the same individuals are the ones on the front line, and they are saying to us, look, we are here. These complaints are coming in. We are only carrying out the policies of the government. They're on the front line. They are taking blows that they may be locked into. And sometimes our complaints could come from not just how it was said, but actually what was said. And so collectively, we have to take a look at the needs assessment for individuals. And I could tell you that in New Providence and in Grand Bahama, as I speak to the staff, as word comes up from the staff, it is said, the PS could confirm, we are already at the point where they have drafted proposals for me to take to the cabinet to deal with our assistance. And I say to take there, so we haven't we haven't made a decision on it, but a recommendation is going to be made. $92 on grocery with inflation. I get it. I was one of them. I go to the food store too. And so we feel your pain. That's a recommendation came from social services. $600 for burial assistance when it is out of the roof. Rental assistance that is capped at $600 for 2 months. This is coming from the team on the ground to say, listen, man, we are seeing this, we are seeing the numbers. We are carrying out the policy, but our recommendation that made to the supervisors, that made to the PS, that made to the director is there will be a need to review these things. It is my job now to go to my parliamentary colleagues and say, look, the data coming out from social services that we all would know who go into the food store, who pay in BPL, or who have to bury a loved one. If we are catering to the poorest of the poor, we need to consider this, this, and this. And so I think that needed to be raised. I can assure applicants that when we are finished with your plans, you won't have to call your MP to seek to follow up on your applications, because you'd be able to contact a well-equipped and staffed call center. You don't have to visit the center to apply in person. You can simply use Promise. That is all in the works. The feature already available and details will be shared. These changes require more resources, and I pledge to my staff, I will seek them. And I'm saying to the people here, just as those requests are made to me, I will make my requests to my parliamentary colleagues. We say at the Department of Social Services and the ministry that we are the heartbeat. We take care of people from the cradle straight to the grave and everything in between. And as I said, we are not perfect. And we are here tonight to assure you our commitment is to serve you better, to be more efficient, and to serve you with excellence. Our staff from the department are here this evening to offer personalized assistance. Equally as important is to respond to your questions and recommendations. And as said by the Minister for Grand Bahama and the leader of the opposition, I'm going to be the trifecta. Feel free to express your concerns. We invited you here. Trust me, just relax. Your time coming. Your time coming. And we want to create an environment where individuals feel that even though you may not get what you want, that you feel that you will be heard. We are mindful, like I said, that we are the heartbeat of the nation, and we invite you and the people of our great nation to join us in restoring the community that most of us know and love. There are still communities throughout the Bahamas where we love our neighbors as ourselves. Let's restore, increase, and expand the culture of love for one another. If we build stronger families, we'll develop stronger communities, and by extension, a stronger nation. And lastly, we look forward to the NGOs, faith-based organizations, and others in joining the government in its efforts. Our aim is to move persons from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment. We ask you to please join us on this venture because, as I said earlier, the government can't do it alone. And there are individuals, NGOs, companies, and individuals who have been assisting and continue to assist. And we want to foster an effort where the government, these NGOs, faith-based initiatives, private citizens could be a part of one effort to move the country in terms of reducing the amount of pain that the poor, poorest of the poor, is experiencing in our country. I know I'm long-winded, but thank you, and I look forward to a productive evening. Thank you.
There are some key points that the minister nailed, and I know that they are all concerns, and they're not concerns limited to Grand Bahama. They are across the board in this portfolio. Raise your hand if you think customer service at our department is one of them. Attitude, customer service, what? Let me hear it. Let me hear it. Secondly, raise your hand if you want the assistance that is being provided now, the social assistance. Do you think it is sufficient? Okay. Number 3, do you believe that the means by which we assess you for social assistance needs to be revisited? Okay, so we're all on the same page. That's the good news. And that is what the minister has shared with you tonight, that we recognize that there is a challenge. But here's the thing. This is the difficult part here. Not everyone can get assistance. That is not what it is designed to do. It is a social safety net. Those who can be caught in it and qualify can be caught. What we need now are strategic partners, NGOs, as Minister said, faith-based entities, other entities to come forward and say, guess what? You who can't qualify for social services because you're a little bit above, this is our grouping that we're going to help. Some of you already say social services is not enough, so maybe I can help you too with a little. But we also need assistance. We need people to step up. We need to continue the assessment because guess what? Fraud in your system will cause others not to be able to get help. So if during COVID, a period when we used what we called a dummy assessment for persons who are not working, we didn't go out into the field. We took it that if you told us you worked at this place and you've been furloughed, you da-da-da-da-da, bam. You got the digital wallet card perhaps or some other means to get your food. But now, how many years later, we are now doing the assessments, and the first calls we start to make to people, we have calls where people say, the husband says, wait, my wife has get food? So no, she's not home, she working, she off on Saturday. So are you understanding what's happening now? Okay. So once we accept that this is not for also entitlement, it is not national insurance. Once you hit 65, do not go to social services unless you're needing help. We've done shows, you've seen us on the nose with Ponciana Inn. People have said we've been throwing people out, evicting, and there are backstories, but we're not going to that. Every client that we have now, we are introducing new initiatives. If you're coming for the help, I'm sorry, you gotta be prepared to go to the financial counseling class. Okay? We gotta give you some help. We gotta give you some help. If you don't have the job, we're gonna give you the referral. In addition to the Department of Labor, get the referral for the BTVI. Many of the initiatives in country have changed where you don't even have to pay. But what does it require? It requires the will to want to do it. And this is what we're trying to empower you to do. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the precursor because now I want you to know what we actually do offer. I don't want you to guess. Some already know. Let us tell you what it is we can offer, and let us tell you how you qualify. After that, the next thing will be to tell you how it gets more efficient. Because we don't need you to come on the lines anymore at social services. If you are able to navigate online, if you have data, if you get Wi-Fi, we have a digital platform that you can use. And it is called Promise. So not everybody has it. So if you want to still come in, you can. And Minister made reference, a call center. And that is what we want to do for Grand Bahama community because of what you've been saying, to brand that for you, to move the community support division to away from our headquarters and into a new location along with our call center. So when you're coming for those services, you don't go to the main office, you go to a specific site, and that is where you apply. When you're picking up the phone, okay, I didn't hear from them. Someone should answer. They give me your NIB number because we use that as your identification. And once you give it to us, we put it in the computer just as they will do there, and your entire history comes up. Whether you applied yesterday or you applied 5 years ago, they are going to tell me exactly what it is. Whether you were supposed to bring the birth certificate for one of the 5 children and you never brought it, and this is why the application is pending and has not been processed. They tell me all of that when the calls are coming in about, I didn't get this and I didn't get that. So I want you to know that yes, we are in transition. And I do believe that better days are ahead for all of us. At this time, Jody Burrows will come to tell you exactly what it is.
Good evening, everyone. On the already established protocol, I would like to add my welcome to the entire audience here this evening. The Department of Social Services has made significant strides in developing our brand Promise, that is P-R-O-M-I-S, without the E. We are dedicated to our mission, which is to respond in the most timely, effective, efficient, and compassionate manner to the changing social needs of all through advocacy, gender equality, education, implementation of innovative policies, and commitment to the full development of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We are excited to deliver this package to you tonight, and you are encouraged to fully utilize the resources we provide. As many of you know, social services offers a wide array of services to meet your requests. Our organization is dedicated to supporting you and addressing the challenges faced by the most vulnerable members of our community. While we may not be able to fulfill every request, we are committed to our mission statement of serving you whenever it is feasible and justifiable. For the most part, you are familiar with our food assistance program, but we also offer a variety of additional services that you may not be aware of. I would like to take this opportunity to highlight some of those services. In addition to the Community Support Services Division, we have the Children and Family Services Division, which include domestic violence, trafficking in persons unit, and domestic violence, sorry. We have our Senior Citizens and our Disability Affairs Division. We have our Promise Unit. Now, of course, everybody is familiar with the Community Support Services Division, which is the financial division of the Department of Social Services, who offers financial assistance to our clients. They include rental assistance, medical assistance, emergency accommodations. We assist the National Insurance Board with their National Prescription Drug Plan, emergency and ongoing food assistance, uniform assistance, and burial assistance. Those mentioned are located in the main building at the Sun Plaza adjacent to KMW Tires. The Family Services, Domestic Violence, and Trafficking in Persons Unit is located in the National Insurance Complex, upstairs at the very end. We also have our center in the West Grand Bahama, which is located in the Obadiah Wilshcombe complex. We encourage you, should you have a need for any of our services, to visit us at any of our locations. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to try and help and to answer your questions. We're asking that you be orderly, please, and you be respectful of everyone. This is the only way we're going to try to move through quickly with your assessments. Now, here's the thing. If your question begins to get a little to the point where you're going to have to start revealing some information, I'm going to need to send you to the hall to one of our persons. It is not appropriate for you to bring some stuff on the general floor. Can we agree to that, please? You may want to do it, but I have to help you here. It is not appropriate to do that. I can say that something is required. You can then say what you have to say, but please don't start to share too much of personal information. When you get to that point, you may find us saying, please go to one of our offices in there. Okay, so they're gonna be there. So we agree to that? Perfect, perfect. Now, I'm gonna ask my persons, I have also community support from New Providence, Ms. Kelly. Ms. Kelly, I'm gonna invite you to come to the front row because you're gonna be one of my resource persons, please, Shirley Kelly. I also have Jody Burrows, who is now officer in charge for the Grand Bahama office. She's gonna be able to answer the question. And of course, you have the acting director of social services. I see the microphone there. You can start making your cue, please. No tripping, no fighting, nobody move, nobody get hurt. Come on, let's do it in an orderly way. Okay, Mom?
Good evening, everyone. Protocol being already established. My name is Geraldine Douglas, and I reside in Homestead Rock. My concern is directly to Mr. LaRoda. I know you have all these persons here from the various departments, but I would like to speak directly to you, sir. Like she said, not giving out too much information. I recently became temporary custodian to 4 minor children because social service got involved to a particular parent. I'm not gonna call her name, like you said, don't give out too much information, but she's a single mother with 4 children, all under the ages of 10, with 2 not being in school and 1 being a baby, 1-year-old. With that being said, they became into my possession a little over a week now. And I have been back and forth to social services in 8 Mile Rock, social services in Freeport, not taking away from social service in 8 Mile Rock because I will give Ms. Minnis her props. She has been the best in trying to assist me with this frustrating situation that I found myself in. And so God is such an awesome and on-time God that you have this meeting tonight that I can speak to you directly instead of back and forth to Ms. Minnis, back and forth to the Freeport office dealing with the particular social worker that she was assigned. With that being said, she's living in a home that was damaged by Dorian, waiting on the urban renewal assistance for home repair, which she didn't get. And so social service came in and take photos of the home. We have photos because she has holes in the wall. She has 4 children. So there's holes in the wall, but there's holes in the roof. The roof is leaking and stuff like that. And it became to the point where she doesn't have the basic necessities. I'm not going to give all the information, but she doesn't have the basic necessities, so therefore social service stepped in and she was, quote unquote, threatened is such a strong word. She was given two options. Either social service take her children, or she find someone to take them, and that's why I came in temporary. She did the second part of it. She got someone to take the children, which was me. But she was not given the time, I would say, to work on all the stuff that they asked her to work on. And so with that being said, one of the children was removed from my care. So, Mr. DeRoda, this young lady is in dire need of home repairs. She's in dire need of power. The home has no power. The home has no water because she's an unemployed mother. She was unable to get the two children in school because of minor things, registration fee and whatever the case may be, stuff like that. So I'm appealing to you, Mr. LeRoda, sir. I need assistance with this young lady, like as of yesterday, the old people is saying. We're not waiting on the urban renewal repairs anymore because social service is now, quote unquote, putting pressure on her. So I'm going to put pressure on you to help me with this situation. She needs temporary housing, like now, so we can get her out of that home and have the repairs done. If not the whole urban renewal repairs, but just repairs for the inside where we could patch the holes, get it plastered, and that's going to be a livable condition for her. I've already started the process to get the children in school. Thanks to Ms. Jasmine Hepburn at the Ministry of Education. Thank you very much, Ms. Jasmine Hepburn. So as of Monday, the children will be going to school. I'm still waiting on social service assistance for uniform for the children, but I've spoken to the principal where they can wear casual clothes until then. But I'm saying this to you to tell you the urge, if social services is gonna put pressure on her to the point where they're gonna threaten her that they're gonna take her children, and I am now the customary guardian for them, I'm gonna put pressure on you and your department to do these things for her so she can get her life and her children's life back on track, where she can get them in school, she can get a house in livable condition to meet up to the standard that social services said she must meet. Sir, so I know you have all these persons here. I'm gonna wait around for you to direct me to who I need to speak to now. Like I said, Ms. Minister's already assisted me in certain areas. Social service has already assisted me in certain areas. But what I need tonight, before I leave here, sir, not in a disrespectful manner, I need temporary housing for her as of the minute I walk up here. I need temporary housing to get her out of that environment so we can have the repairs done. I've already lined up someone to help with the minor repairs because the urban renewal process is taking so long. I need supplies, I need rock sheet, I need plywood, I need paint to get this home beautified. So when social service comes back, within whatever time frame they give her, we can have this all done, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the question. There's a lot to unpack there. First of all, the home repairs, that will fall under urban renewal.
Right.
So social services is now with information and broadcasting. Urban renewal is under housing. The point person I'll invite you to speak to tonight, because for obvious reasons you didn't give me the specific, is Ms. Jody Burrows. And hopefully we could assist us as soon as we can. You said that she did not have all of her documentation in.
She had it into the urban renewal. She's still on the home repair
I
list.
see that maybe, but
She had
the
to
home
complete it.
repairs would be with them. We're talking about social service assistance or something like temporary housing, food, uniforms. That is something that we should be able to assist.
Yes.
Okay, so Ms. Burrows, you have a word with her.
The lady on the end.
One more question. So in this situation, taking of the kids into social service care. That was for temporary until she's in a better position, right?
But I would assume that's what they told us.
Okay. It didn't sound like a permanent situation. Okay, Ms. Burrows would be the person that I...
Hello. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. As far as social service concerned, don't cut me off. Last time we been in social service, they tell me they give me $50
Emergency.
coupon for 3 months. 3 months. Now you do the math. Do the math. $50 for 3 months, that's less than $5 a week. How could someone survive on less than $5 a week with food assistance? I have voted PLP. I ain't worried about these people coming out here because the election coming up and they talking foolishness, right? Now, y'all cut me off here. Oh, now, they come out here because the election coming up and y'all talking a bunch of foolishness. I voted PLP all my life.
Okay, sir, so you want us to look at your list. Yeah. What we're going to do with the list?
See, you can cut me off now.
Yeah. We have a line growing behind you, so you got to...
Miss, you been up there talking foolishness all the time.
Come on, sir. Come on, sir, now. Come on.
I have several. How long does reassessment take? That's one. Who approves the application for assessment? That's two. Also, the age you mentioned, the minister mentioned, was 70, but P.S. Raman, there's a problem. In Grand Bahama and in Pine Ridge, because that's where I live, I have persons calling every day. Councillor Francis, why this, why that? Many persons were taken off, and I agree with you. We got to reassess them. Reassessment should not take 2 months, 3 months. Reassessment should be done in a timely manner, because if you reassess people and you let people know where they are, then they can go and seek assistance elsewhere. Another thing, your department, P.S. Raman, and I know you alluded to it, your lack of resources and lack of manpower. We know that. But when persons come to get assistance, P.S. Raman allow them to leave with their dignity, because many of them feel that it is not being done. I've already spoken to 80 boroughs who assured me that that matter will be resolved, but we got to remember that persons who come, yes, we have some who fall through the cracks who want to get assistance because they want to get it. But we have persons, if you see someone come to social service, they come because they need it. Because sometimes your pride is all you have. I am not going to stand on no line, because I know when I pass that line, the first thing they say, Clifton Francis on that line. But the point is, let us do it with dignity and respect. I have no problem telling the persons in the area, listen, this is a process. What you can do is you can help us to help you. Give us the documents or paper that they need so that when they call, I can say, listen, this is what you need. Do you have this? Do you need this? When the rental assistance, Ms. Raman, it really taking too long. People getting put out on the streets because the rental assistance taking long. And then, I cannot tell you about Omni, but persons who got to call the landlord, listen, the landlord trying to put people out, and Omni ain't calling them, and the money already gone. And I know you all send money to Omni. Some of them are putting them out right so. Oh, we ain't get it, but they get the money long time. You all got to find a way so that when you all send these funds to Omni for rental assistance, let the person know so that they can be, landlord, listen, you get your money. Do not be harassing me. Please, you all, let's do that. Thank you and have a wonderful night.
My sister is on oxygen. She's calling me right now, okay? And I have to leave. So just give me a moment.
Go ahead.
My name is Adrian Sands. For those who don't know, I'm 65 years old, okay? Now, I understand y'all positions, and I understand about NGOs because I work for Bahamas Red Cross after Dorian, okay? I've traveled from East End to West End to Sweetenski to Nassau to Abaco to Florida. I was in charge of logistics, transportation, and the warehouse. So I know about helping people, okay? When the NGOs left, my contract became redundant. From then to now, I'm fighting just to survive. I'm a packer at the food store on Call Road, which is Express Food Mart. I work strictly off of tips. Now, I've been told from March, I've been coming in for assistance for I have the card, and that's for the food, okay? They told me in March I needed to get reassessed. From March, and this is November, nobody has gotten to me yet. I'm not saying they didn't try to, okay? There was 2 attempts, but I couldn't leave my job. I need my little couple of dollars that I make. You understand? So when I got that phone call, I said I could not leave. Like I say, I work strictly off of tips. That's one thing about me trying to get assessed just to get back on this program. Another thing I want to speak on behalf of my sister right now who's calling me, Bonnie Baston. Bonnie Baston has a ministry called House of Hoops and Dreams, okay? My sister, y'all only give her $92 or whatever it is that she gets a month. She houses young men on her own. And I don't see why these young men who are under the age, who are in her house, that she cannot get assistance for them also. Okay, she's getting all kind of red tape. Also, I have another sister, Michelle Sands, who is now cancer-free and has Parkinson's, that lives with my sister Bonnie. My sister, these 2 sisters are in one house, and they cannot get assistance. Come on. I'm not saying they don't get assistance, but they're getting red tape every time. So I just want to voice my opinion on these matters, okay? Thank you for your time, and I hope they will be addressed.
Thank you.
But I got to go
very
get
much.
her.
I would hope that Ms. Burrows, who was in the room, I think to the back or just to the right, would know, and those other officers here would know you. The particulars I cannot speak to. Those are things that we would have to go in the system to look at specific cases. But I do want to touch on something, and it is when you have multiple persons in a house, there is a different means of assessing, and those persons would have to be almost added to your application and considered. So when you're doing things as housing people, it starts to sound like you're either having a transitional home or a hospice or something like that. It wouldn't be food assistance. It sounds like you need a grant to probably help you a little better to do what you're talking about. But in terms of the other matters, I will allow community support from Nassau to address your questions that you raised. Ms. Kelly, please.
Good evening to all of you. I would just want to address the gentleman who was here earlier. He referred to receiving $50. I would like to clarify that the $50 is the amount that's given to a person who has been approved for an emergency food assistance. Okay, with the emergency food assistance, you will only receive that when you come into the office and make a request. There's not a complete assessment that is done at that particular time. The amount of the emergency assistance goes from $50 to $100 based on the amount of dependent persons that residing in their home. Apart from that, if you have received emergency food assistance and there is an identified need that you may need more or may need to be on our food ongoing program, there is a complete assessment that is done. And the complete assessment will include the fact that you would need a home verification exercise. During the period of Dorian and during the period of COVID, our department made a decision that those persons who may have come in to request food assistance or other assistance, there would not be a home verification or a home visit that would need to be completed at that time because of the volume of persons that were involved and because of the nature of what was happening at that time. People were losing their jobs, et cetera, et cetera. However, in March of 2023, this is right, 2023, in March 2023, or 2024, I think 2024, in March of 2024, there was a decision that was made that all persons on any of our assistance programs would need a home verification exercise completed. All of you would know that home verification, as a social worker, that's a key component to our profession. When you go and make a home verification or home visit, a lot of information is revealed just by making the visit at the house. And what we have found doing this exercise is that a number of persons who may have already been receiving assistance from us may fall into a category where they may not need it any longer, but may not have told that to us. And based on our information gathered from the home visits, then we make a decision whether you're to remain or not to remain on our program. Now, we know that there are a very large number of persons who are requiring home visits, and this is when a decision was made for the elderly and the disabled to be able to continue on without the reassessment being completed. So you will fit into that category, okay? We're hoping, sir, that this process will not take longer than 2 or 3 months, but please understand that because of the volume of persons involved, the time might be a little bit long at this particular time. We're hoping that once we have it under control, then it will not be so long. And I would also venture to say that there was an overtime exercise done specifically to address this matter, not only in Grand Bahama, but also in Nassau.
Okay, that's part of it. Some of the challenges that we have, I think we have to confess that it's more the system of what we find ourselves using now that has been in place for a while. You find us upgrading with a digital platform, but there are still some of the, I don't want to say antiquated or old-fashioned style, what's being employed and what they're doing. It's not only assessing the policies, but it's assessing the way they do the work that they do. And that takes time. We are trying to use a holistic approach, not just the bits and pieces here. So there are many moving parts. One, you heard the dependency part. We were introducing some conditions that people will need to do. You hear about the Bank of the Bahamas card. Some people are saying, you gave me a card, I go to Solomon's, it didn't work. I'm being told that at Solomon's, if you have the Bank of the Bahamas card, the strip has had some challenges. Am I correct, Ms. Jones? Okay, the strip has had some challenges. So unfortunately, I don't know whether that means they're limited to other vendors and cannot go there, or is it that the card itself is replaced? I know that that has been flagged because we've gotten concerns from that. I also want to take this opportunity to say that those persons who have to leave, please, if you have a question and you have to leave, please write it down and leave it at the back of the room. We are going to ensure, and if you want to, you can put your name. If you don't, that's fine. We will still have it read. If it's something that's already been addressed, then we don't have to say it. But if it hasn't, it would be worth sharing with everyone. Everyone can benefit from it, okay? So if you have to leave at any time, see our staff at the back, write the question, leave it, make sure that you've signed in and you've provided all the information for us. Jamie, help me with that, please. How many use Bank of the Bahamas card? Well, don't raise your hand. Or you know of persons with challenges with our card. Anybody? Challenges with Bank of the Bahamas card. Okay. She's the person who can answer those questions, okay?
Just by way of information, if you have a Bank of the Bahamas card and it has a magnetic strip on it, the black strip on the back, and you are having a challenge with that card, you are asked to go into your center to advise them. The bank is doing an upgrade, and so those cards will need to be replaced. So that's a key feature. The lady sitting next to the lady in the pink had a question, but she's, yes. So we're gonna let you have that question first.
Yes, good night. My name is Janice Jones, and I understand, I hear you talking about the age barrier where persons over 70 should not be having to be assessed. I'm taking care of an elderly lady who's bedridden, and she's 84 years old. Her food stamp has been taken from her over a year, and to this date, for 6 months, my niece has been up and down to social services trying to get an assessment done, and they haven't assessed her yet. And it's really poor because this lady is bedridden, and that's a concern. You understand? And I only came here tonight because I wanted to know if it was a way whereas they weren't doing assessments, or what the problem was why the assessments was not being done in a timely manner. Over a year, ma'am?
It shouldn't be over a year.
It's been too long.
But I know they've had a significant backlog. But you're talking to someone who is 84 years old.
She's 84 years old and bedridden.
Has been receiving assistance.
Has been receiving assistance and was taken off.
Okay, so the new policy says that that's a person that should not be taken off, and they actually should not require the assessment. Am I correct? At 84.
Well,
that is the new policy.
Yes, ma'am.
So you need to make a call, or even if you were to visit the booth there, that's a quick fix right there, ma'am, for that part of it with the food.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Because it's been really too long, over a year.
No, it's no assessment. It's no assessment for that.
Thank you very much.
You can fix that tonight. Alaria, you can fix it tonight.
Thank you, ma'am.
What is the reason for house home inspection? Anne, that's you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. The home verification is one of the process that is needed in order for us to do an assessment of the situation. There are a number of things we look at when we do the home verification. Number one, we have to confirm that you say you live on Coral Drive. We have to confirm if that is so. Because unfortunately, some people will say, yes, they live on Coral Drive, and when we check, they live on Pioneers Way. And so therefore, we have to do that home verification to confirm your address. The home verification is also to do an assessment to look at your housing situation, who all resides in the home, the condition of your home, if it needs repairs, and all of that is needed in the process to confirm where you are staying and to do a proper assessment of your situation. So the home verification is a requirement of the Department of Social Services.
It also says, I'm going to allow her to address this too because this pertains to her area. How long does it take, or why does it take so long for a reply to medical assistance?
Medical assistance requires certain documents. And once it's submitted, depending upon the amount, as to whether it can be done here locally or whether it has to go to New Providence. It's a challenge, but we're trying to work on that. And going forward, we would hope that we can reduce the time period that is required. But I know normally it depends upon you submitting your documents in a timely manner. Unfortunately, some persons wait for the last minute. They may have a particular appointment and it's near to that time, and then we have, of course, we have to do the assessment. Social history report is required, and so therefore it may take a little while. So the onus is on you to submit your documents in a timely manner so it can be addressed as soon as possible.
Okay, one of the things too, I believe, is that medical assistance, I don't know if you mentioned it, it is approved in New Providence. And that may create a bit of a lag time too. There are some instances where that applies to some of our services, that it is not a local approval process. And these are the things we're looking at, whether in fact it can be decentralized and it remains in your community at a particular level. And then when there is an exception, only then it would have to come over. And so these are being looked at to help us expedite things. Miss, your question, my apology. This line up right here, ma'am. Okay, that's your question. Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Fraser? Thank you. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, head panel. My name is Geraldine Bessel. As the person don't like to complain. When you see I come to social service, complain something, I really need it. 1 year was on the Dorian. I got a fridge from one they used to go and establish the fridge. It was packed in new. My fridge cut right off. 2022, everybody knows the summer that was very hot. I went to social service, they complained. The lady told me social service does give you fridge. I didn't know that. Because they saw me was getting 2 bags of ice. To put my medication on ice would need to go in the fridge. I went to social service, complained that I need a fridge. Medication would open, need to go in the fridge. 1 year passed. I still didn't get no assistance from social service. I went in Nassau 21, 22, and 23. But after independent, I said I might maybe see some politicians down to get their house. Because I'm not afraid to talk to anyone of the ministers them. But I guess it was tied, so the place was closed. So one of the ladies went to social service, I won't call her name, she told me there's so much people in front of me. That means if 1 million people in front of me, I still can't get served to get a fridge. That means I will die if I need my medication to go on ice. I still ain't get no system. I'm in Marco City, Mr. Pintard. I'm not talking on my behalf now. I'm talking on behalf of one of my neighbors, a lonely woman living by herself. She needs some help. She lives right through the corner where, if you know Shirley Newball, through the corner there. She went in Nassau, I think last week, to the doctor. I watched over her house. I said she must be home. But you know, with Darrell Miller, how he passed away, I was concerned about her. So she called Nassau to my daughter, say she's in Nassau. That's why I told my daughter, I said maybe she might go in Nassau to the doctor, because that's what she said. But if you could come and check out, she needs some help. I live in Fate Corner South. And she lived right on the opposite side.
Okay, ma'am. Acting director has asked me to invite you, please, to go next door. Did you bring any ID with you tonight?
Beg pardon?
You brought any ID with you? You have your national insurance
No,
card?
I leave him home.
Okay, still try with your name and see if they'll be able to bring it up for me, please.
All right.
Okay, at any time when you applied for the appliances, for the refrigerator, did you provide the quotes? You provided the quotes too for the fridge? Quotations. Okay, they're already in, okay.
First off, I went to the back, but nobody was in the back to assist me in disability. So I want to start by saying I'm very disappointed that I have to come to a town meeting to find out the status of my son's disability claim. I applied for his disability claim in January of this year. I gave social services at least the first 5 months before I tried and get an update on it. I've been to all of the offices on this island. Nobody's able to assist me. Miss Menace tried. She tries to assist me the best way she can. I can't get an answer from anyone. They transfer me to Nassau. Nobody is answering in Nassau.
Okay, I'll have a conversation with you at the back, ma'am, okay?
Thank you.
Oh, good night, everybody.
Good night, ma'am.
My name is Carl Taylor Fernando. I'm a retired police officer. I retired from the police force for 35 years. About 2 weeks ago, I got a national insurance asking them for $50 or $60 coupon. It was William served me. It took so long, but I still waited. She served me. But she told me I had to pay, my salary, I have to pay my life insurance on that because I was diagnosed with lupus and I have to pay my house insurance because everybody knows that in the back of Regency Theater there's flood. She told me that her house is not insured and this will be the last stamp she gave to me. I wouldn't have gone there to ask for no food if I had that. You really, I had to hold myself before her just to get a $50 check. I do my time, 35 years, and I can't get nothing. She said this will be the last check you have. I've been in there just started, lady. She said me this, whatever I'm going to put there, that's it. She even didn't help me. I tell her, if I'm wrong, tell me I am wrong. But if I'm right, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would just like to commend the Department of Social Service for having this tonight. I'm sure there's a lot of people who may be upset with you here tonight. It couldn't have been easy for you to come out here and present yourselves. My name is Nakia Watson. If you do not know me, I have a one-track mind. I have one thing on my mind all the time, and that is, anybody know? That's right, mammograms, not breast cancer, but breast health. And what some of you may not also know is that the screening rates here in the Northern Bahamas has decreased by 90% over the last 20 years. And one of the major reasons for that is access and affordability. Tonight, I do not come here to complain, but to offer a partnership. Now, this proposal has been sent to Ms. Burrows. It is a detailed proposal on how to address access to screening when the public system is out of service. And I'm offering this to you, but I can't give you this coffee, this one is mine. But we have a goal of screening 500 women for 2025. I don't believe that there should be a big frenzy every October for women to try and get a discount in order to get that screening done. When you find that lump in January, March, or May, you should have access to that screening. I think this is a good plan. I would love the opportunity to pitch it to social services to see how we can roll it out and make sure that early detection is something that is achievable. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are you you said you've already provided it to Ms. Burrows? Okay, wonderful, wonderful. I'm looking and either persons do you have persons in there? Alaria still? Okay, so we have a number of persons still sitting in the room getting assistance. Those of you who are waiting now, as we wrap up, any further questions? We have tried to, you can come one-on-one if you'd like and didn't want to ask on the open floor. Don't just rush them all at once, but please do wait around and we'd be happy to discuss it with you. Again, I can continue? Okay. I want to start to end where we started with a statement Minister said. The Department of Social Services is in transition. I want to add to something too. We recognize that we are not perfect. And you touched on it. You said it had to take a lot out of us to come and put ourselves out here. And I gotta tell you, it did. It did. And I think my team was a bit hesitant, but if we are to change, we must do it. This is the first step, to actually put yourself out there, to hear from the public, the good, the bad, the ugly. Hear it. But you just can't hear it and leave it there. We must change. We tonight give you that commitment. Please follow us. Change doesn't just come, sometimes it comes like whoosh, fast. But change is in increments. So we want you to generally follow us, look at us, and start to say, I want y'all to let us know when it's good. Don't just knock us when it's bad. I want you to tell us that. Oftentimes something happens good, Someone raised a question, we pulled them to the side, we gave them the answer, the smile is there. I would have loved for that person to come back and say, Miss, yeah, now I get it. She gave me what I needed. That would be so good for staff morale as well. The other thing is, oftentimes people say, I say that the staff are undervalued. They're here for you in times of the hurricane and all the trials. Everybody knows social services, even though everybody points the finger. But these are people who are very often going through their own challenges, and they continue to push through it every day. Yes, it is their job, and people say you don't get a thanks for a job. But tonight, we want to say, as permanent secretary, as my staff who came in from New Providence, to all the social workers in Grand Bahama, and in fact, throughout the Bahamas, thank you for all you do. Very often, it's not under the best of circumstances. Very often, I get in the complaints that y'all don't have enough resources here or there. You can place that before us and allow us to fight that battle as best we could. Sometimes we win it, and sometimes we're not as successful. But always know that we are ready and able to assist, and we stand for you. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure being in Grand Bahama over the past few days. I say thank you to all of you. We invite you to stay behind for some refreshments. Thank you, Leader of the Opposition, for staying the full night, and also for my minister to taking the blows that came with it, and for everyone that participated tonight. Thank you again.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you for coming out. Thank you for being active. I hope that we allayed some of the fears that you've mentioned. And all I ask you to do, that what is going to come out of this night, we will caucus, listen to the concerns that was raised. Hopefully, social services could handle the ladies' fridge. Hopefully, within in the not too distant future, your experience as you get into social services will be better. And I think that maybe in the not too distant future, we'll have a follow-up and you'll be able to judge us on whether things are getting better. I know it's getting late. I just want to thank you all for your time. It's much appreciated. You get to hear from us what the department is doing. We get to hear from you what your concerns are, and we really appreciate your time in coming out to educate us on the concerns that is going on in Grand Bahama so that we could be in a better position to help you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here.
Please be reminded that refreshments are just out in the foyer. You're free to partake of it. Thank you.
And there you have it as we close out this town hall meeting at the Christ the King Forza Vipassana Center here in Grand Bahama, hosted by the Social Services Department. I just want to say that I think it has been a very informative and insightful meeting. Of course, we heard from a lot of the residents who brought their concerns, and I thought a lot of them were addressed, and it was passionate pleas from persons who were seeking assistance. But kudos to the Social Services Department for doing everything that they can and presenting themselves to the public tonight to let them know that we're here to address your concerns. We're not running away from the issues. We know that there are issues. We're here to address them, and we're not running away from it. Jody Burrows, Assistant Director for the department, I want to give you just your closing thoughts on tonight's town hall meeting.
My thoughts on this evening in this town hall meeting is that it was very productive, insightful, and we are committed. The Department of Social Services, our staff, we are committed to ensure that our clients who are in need of our assistance get exactly what it is that they need. You know, this here is powerful. We put ourselves out here to be scrutinized. I won't say criticized, but, you know, far too often, we at the department are or have been criticized, but we remain committed. Like my minister said, At the Department of Social Services, our goal is to bring our clients from a place of dependency to self-sufficiency.
Yes.
We are committed to that.
Absolutely. And
What are
Debbie,
you going to do? I was going to say, if I may
Yes,
ask a
absolutely.
question. What are you going to do differently with the customer service, with the long lengths that really builds on the frustration?
We have been addressing that matter. And I can honestly say that in recent times, most recent times, we have cut that time down significantly. We are determined to change the face, what it is, the perception. We are committed to changing that perception. We are going to be stronger, we're better, we are committed.
Absolutely, and there you have it. And just to reiterate on what you spoke about, the minister stated it earlier as well. The goal here is to move residents in Grand Bahama and those who are dependent on the social services department from dependency to self-sufficiency. He also stated that not everyone is designed to get the assistance, but there are some requirements needed to get the assistance, and the overall goal is a better Bahamas for everyone. And I think that's what people need to understand here, that the overall goal is a better Bahamas. It doesn't matter whether you're black, white, purple, green, blue, whatever. The overall goal is a better Bahamas.
We want to see every citizen of the Bahamas thrive.
Yes. And Debbie, I want to give you an opportunity to close out your thoughts on tonight's town hall meeting.
I think what we are witnessing is another level of maturity, dealing with a very difficult subject that generally, yes. But let me first commend the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting for the leadership. And I believe, those of us that submit to any authority in any organization will catch that spirit. I love the fact that we are identifying the problems and confronting the problems with solutions. What is very outstanding is that when I talk about maturity, we have demonstrated that this is apolitical. It's Bahamian. I want to commend the leader of the opposition. He was in fine form, a statesman, and adding to the solutions. He was very proactive. I love the fact that a number of the folks who spoke, they were representing others.
Yes.
Isn't that community?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's telling us that if we put people together, we're going to have some different opinions. If two people always agree, somebody is unnecessary. And so iron sharpens irons. But listen, when we capture all of what we heard tonight, and those people said, what really touched me was that lady who said, listen, I am here for this lady who has these 5 children. And she doesn't have, a roof is leaking, a floor, she doesn't have the refrigerator. That's what we're supposed to do for one another. And I also was very happy when the PS and the minister talked about subtly the abuses that happen, that they find that there's some fraudulent activities. And as a country, we have to hold each other accountable to be integrous so that we can look out for each other. So I am very happy that, as the minister said, we are the heartbeat of the nation. We are moving from dependency, self-sufficiency to economic empowerment. And finally, let me say that it was a complete and absolute joy, not only to work with the leaders and the professional workers of social services, but my foundation and my purpose is rooted in broadcasting. You all, see, that's my new boyfriend right there. The producers, all the cameramen, you all are so professional. I am so proud that we have a next generation of excellence in broadcasting, and the world is your marketplace. So thank you. I enjoyed this so much. When Bahamians arrive, first class has arrived.
Absolutely. We have arrived. First class. I accept that. Thank you so much. I want to thank Judy Burrows, the Assistant Director with the Department of Social Services, for joining us tonight.